Hello and welcome to Cinemaze, and today is a very special video, a video I'm very happy to be making, and that's because it's my 1 year anniversary on YouTube. It's been 1 year since I uploaded my very first video, so happy birthday to me I guess. But not only that, but I just hit 1,000 subscribers. So if we put both these facts together, within 1 year of YouTube I managed to get 1,000 subscribers. This still seems so unreal to me. As I mentioned in my 500 sub special 6 months ago, when I made this channel I was aiming for 365 subscribers after a year, one for each day. I thought this was a realistic goal, but I thought it would still be a challenge, and after a year I've nearly tripled that. It's incredible. Seriously guys, thank you so much. I can't believe it. The support I get from you all is amazing. I can't believe there's 1,000 people who care enough about what I have to say about films. It really means so much to me. To say thanks, I thought I'd do a Q&A to answer some of your questions, and so you guys could get more of an understanding of me as a person, as a YouTuber, and as a film fan. I've got a great range of questions from YouTube and Twitter, varying from funny to serious, about YouTube and about films, so thanks to everyone who asked me a question. After the Q&A, I'll talk a bit more about my channel and where I want things to go heading forward after the 1,000. So this is going to be a much longer video than usual, so apologise for that, and the editing might not be quite as good as usual because for some of these questions there's not many visual cues I can actually show. So I hope you'll stick around for all of it because I have some great things to say and lots of awesome questions to answer. So on with the Q&A. So Off the Cuff asks, what made you want to do this in the first place knowing the state and competitiveness of YouTube? First of all, Off the Cuff 76, thank you so much for all the support you've given me throughout the year. It has really been motivational and I really appreciate it. So this is a great question because this really was something I massively considered before making my channel. YouTube seemed like an oversaturated market where growth for a new channel seemed hard and the task seemed almost impossible. And this really did put me off making my channel for a long time. I wanted to make videos way over a year ago, and the main reason is because I love films. I would constantly be thinking about films or watching YouTube videos about films and annoying people in real life talking about films. So I wanted to share my thoughts with other people who cared about films. But as you mentioned, the state of YouTube wasn't good and it really was off-putting. The thing that made me really want to take the plunge was a guy called Sean Chandler. I know a lot of you guys watch him. He's a fantastic YouTuber, and just over a year ago I found one of his videos that kept getting recommended to me, and I was instantly hooked. At the time he was around 11k subs. And I came back a day later and he was on like 15k, and a few days later than that he was on about 20,000 subs. And this showed me that it was still possible to grow on YouTube as a smaller channel. And so because I saw him succeeding, I thought maybe I could too, and so I took the plunge and I made my first video. Sean then saw a comment I left on his video and decided to watch my first ever video, and he subscribed to me. And I thought if my inspiration was watching, I had to keep going, and so he really motivated me. He didn't have to watch that video, it really isn't good, especially the sound quality, but he was kind enough to check it out and leave a nice comment, and he's commented on some other videos since, and so I owe him a lot. Sean Chandler, if you're watching, thank you so much, you really are an inspiration, and congrats on going full time, you've really earned it. Back to the question, I made the channel because I love films and I thought I had some interesting things to say about films. If anyone watching this is thinking about starting YouTube but is worried because of the state of YouTube, trust me, just go for it, it will be worth it. Real Fiends Movie Reviews, he says, what inspired you to create your channel? Ever have dreams to make a film or act? I'm a lover of film but also dreamed of being an actor/screenwriter. Short films and winning a few contests is as far as I got. Keep up the great work. Wish you much success. First of all, thanks for the kind words, really appreciate it. So I kind of just talked about what inspired me, a love of films and having something to say that I wanted to get out there. So the next question about have I had dreams of making a film or acting. First of all, congrats on the short films and winning a few contests, that's really awesome, keep it up. Personally, have I had dreams to make a film or act? Definitely not acting, I'm not a good actor, and as you can probably tell by my style of videos, I don't like being in front of a camera. Directing/producing definitely appeals to me more out of the two options, and I'm interested in the filmmaking process, but I've never really tried to pursue it, so no, not really had any kind of dream to act or make films. But it does interest me, and if I got the chance to direct or produce something, I'd probably be up for it. So Marvin K. Brown from Marvin's channel I'm a massive fan of, asked me a few questions, so I'll go through them one by one. First of all, would I ever consider reviewing Spider-Man PS4? No. And that's because I haven't played it. I don't have a PS4, so I didn't get the chance, but I did watch a full 8-hour video of the story scenes on YouTube, and that was a fantastic experience. I really loved it. Spider-Man is my favourite character. And I think this was my favourite incarnation of the character I've ever seen. It got so much right while still feeling fresh at the same time. I hope the MCU takes some aspects from it because it felt so perfectly Spider-Man and there's a lot of greatness in there. 2018 was a fantastic year for the Wallcrawler. So no game review, but I have planned some videos and one of them may be about Peter Parker, and Spider-Man PS4 may get mentioned in it for sure, but I cannot confirm or deny. So next question, would I ever consider reviewing other genres that aren't superhero films? Yeah, absolutely. I didn't make this channel just to talk about superhero films, that's kind of the way it's gone and it's my biggest interest, but I try and talk about films that interest me and films that I have something to say. Last year I saw films like The Meg and The Predator, but I didn't end up reviewing them, mainly because I didn't have the time and I didn't have anything new to add to the discussion. I didn't think they were great, but I didn't think it was worth making a review about them. So no, this channel isn't supposed to be just superhero based. I'd definitely be up for talking about other films, and I have done a few. Next question, am I excited for Joker Origin? I guess so. I would say I'm more intrigued than excited. Some of the things have been interesting, but I need to see more from it, like a trailer, before I can really start getting excited. Then you ask, what's my worst cinema experience? I haven't really had a really bad one. I remember for Jungle Book in 2016, the theatre didn't turn the lights off for the first 15 minutes, so I couldn't really get into the start of the film as much as I'd want to, especially a film that looked this good. And it was one of those scenarios where no one wanted to leave to ask to turn the lights off because they didn't want to miss the film, but everyone wanted the lights off. Everyone just sat there hoping that they would turn off, but after 15 minutes, someone bit the bullet and complained, so they got turned off. But that was quite annoying. In my second viewing of Infinity War, there was a guy screaming abuse at Star-Lord when he hit Thanos. That was pretty weird and annoying. But my other viewing of Infinity War at midnight was so amazing and atmospheric. People were screaming in shock at the end, and that made up for it. And it really was something special because that kind of audience experiences with people being loud doesn't happen in the UK often. So the fact that this film shook audiences was amazing. And your last question, favourite directors? I don't have a specific favourite, but I really like Edgar Wright's style. Apart from Baby Driver, his films aren't some of my favourites, but when I watch his films, I notice his direction and I really enjoy it. Great question. Everyone should go check out Marvin's channel. He has some great thoughts on movies and he always has interesting ideas. Daniel YBARRA asks, how do you set up / make your videos? Thanks for the question, Daniel, and thanks for the support in the year. I really enjoyed the collaboration we did. If you're watching this and you haven't checked out that collaboration, go check out this video about Venom. How do you set up / make your videos? So I always start off with scripting my videos. I script every video I do. I tried it without, but for me it sounds more awkward when I don't script it and I end up missing out details. So I work best scripted. So I don't stick to the script completely, but it helps a lot. I really enjoy the scripting and recording process. I think it's the most fun part. Then I edit the audio, cut out the bad takes or the gaps or the deep breaths or that really lippy sound that you can sometimes hear. Sound editing is the worst part of the video process for me. It's long, it's tedious, and no one really likes hearing their own voice on recordings. And then I take that audio and I add visuals. I do my editing on Sony Vegas and I make my overlays and themes on Photoshop. Visual editing I find fun, but it can be long. So yeah, pretty simple process, scripting, recording, then editing. So the Greek Geek says, thanks for including me. No problem. Thanks for the question. And then he says, congrats on 900. 1000 won't take long. Yeah, you were right. It didn't take that much longer. So then he asks, how long does it take for me to make a video and do I write a script? So yeah, as I just mentioned, I always use a script. It helps my videos sound more natural and fluid. I know some people are the opposite. They sound more rigid when they use a script. But for me personally, I need a script. So how long does it take me? It really depends on the type of video. If it's a trailer review, I can get it all done in a day. I normally have a rough idea of when a trailer will drop the day before, so I write down ideas that I want to see. Then I see the trailer, watch it like 50 times, see if it hit the points that I'd written down, then I talk about other thoughts and then record it and edit it. That's pretty quick. Movie reviews take a few days. I see a film, again, I normally have ideas written down beforehand of things that I want to see in it, and then I see if it hits those points, and then I script all the other thoughts that I have of the movie. The scripting normally takes a day, sometimes a bit longer, depends on how passionate I am about the film. Once I've got the script, I then record and sound edit. I normally do that the next day and then video edit on the final day. So normally around 3 days. The other types of videos I make normally take much longer because I have to think of an idea and then script it, and then I go over the script, adding things in, and that takes a lot of time. And the visual editing part of the process isn't as simple as just getting images from the movies. So I couldn't put a time on those types of videos because I'm constantly working on them and they take much longer. You then ask, what other YouTubers inspired you to make your videos, other than myself, of course? I'll start off by saying, if you're watching this and you don't know the Greek Geek, seriously, go check out his channel. He makes fantastic movie-related videos on his channel. Very funny, very great things to say. He really has some good stuff. So what YouTubers inspired me? As I mentioned earlier, Sean Chandler, he inspired me to take the plunge of making my channel. But other YouTubers, so Mr. Sunday Movies, he's the first movie channel I really found back in 2015 leading up to The Force Awakens. So he's a massive reason why I love films and how I got into the whole film community. Him and a channel called I Hate Everything, they inspired me because they showed me that you don't have to show your face to get your personality across in the video. So stylistically, they inspired me in the way I present my videos. I just wish I could edit as well as them. Captain Midnight and Nando Eat Movies, they make the kind of content that I want to be able to make, not just reviews, but movie ideas and pictures, movie fixes, my thoughts leading up to a movie. There's so many people who I watch, I couldn't name them all, but the ones I mentioned are the ones who inspired the style of content that I make. Ashley Peschel from Peschel Talks, he asked, what would your ideal superpower be and why? Nice question. Ideal in terms of most useful, I think I would want to be able to freeze time. It would be a good power for everyday life. Freeze time and sleep if you didn't get enough sleep that night. If you're late in the morning, freeze time and you can get there in time. If you're in an exam and you don't know the answer, freeze time, look it up, come back in the exam. If I didn't have time to make a video, I could just freeze time and make it. It seems like it'd be really useful for real life scenarios. So next up is Roadhawk Wilson, and he asks, what were your favourite superheroes growing up? For me, Spider-Man. It's always been Spider-Man. I've always related to him the most, and I think he's the coolest character. All three versions of the character on film I enjoy and have been important to me at different times throughout my life. I grew up with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, I was at that awkward school age of falling for a girl and stuff, so I related to his a lot. And then Tom Holland's came just as I really started getting into the MCU and films in general. So Spider-Man has always been important, and my interests throughout life have always seemed to mirror the version of the character that existed at that time. Not just in film, but I love the Ultimate Spider-Man comic run, and the original Lee and Ditko stuff is great too, so Spider-Man by a long way. Although one thing of interest is that he's not my favourite MCU character. That would actually be Captain America, which is a testament to how well they've done Cap. You also ask who is the most inspirational figure in comics. In terms of a comic character, again it would be Spider-Man. His sense of responsibility, the way he's always trying to do what's right, the way he gets beaten down and always gets back up no matter what. I find that inspirational. But you say figure in comics, so it doesn't just include characters. So I'd say Stan Lee. He represents what's great about superheroes and comics, and there's a reason so many people respect him. I love the story of how he got Spider-Man to appear in comics. His bosses said they didn't like the idea because no one likes spiders, and heroes should all be men. But Stan Lee knew he had a unique and great idea that people would relate to, so he put Spider-Man in the last issue of a comic that was about to get cancelled, and the character really took off. To me, that's inspirational. He knew he had a great idea, and he didn't let the idea die. He fought for it, and he was proved right. Finally, you ask what drives me to make content? It's got to be you guys, the guys who watch. The support I get is amazing. I love reading your comments and talking on Twitter. Without you guys watching and supporting me, I would have given up instantly. But you make this fun and give me a reason to talk about movies. Just small things like back when I was at 100 subscribers, Off the Cuff gave me a shout out in a video. The thought that a guy on the other side of the world in Australia saw my videos and enjoyed them and decided to make a video about it motivated me so much. You guys are amazing. I can't thank you all enough. So Jared BUCKENDAHL, he asks, if you could live in any movie universe, which one would it be and why? This is an interesting question. I guess it depends if I was still me or if I had the powers of the universe. If I was me, but in the MCU, not much would change, but I'd just be at more risk of getting killed by aliens or magic space gems, so that wouldn't be fun. But if I had superpowers while in the MCU, of course that would be really fun. I reckon Lord of the Rings would be interesting. It's a cool world with a great history and a great lore. I know this isn't really a movie universe, as long as we're forgetting about the film that we don't talk about, but Avatar: The Last Airbender universe would be fun. Again, that has a great lore and a great culture that's set up, so I think that would be really cool. Matt from Matt's Movie Reviews asks if I get excited about other genres that aren't superhero movies. I basically answered this one earlier, but yeah, I do. Lots of films interest me. If a movie gets my attention, then I'd review it, but yeah, I'd like to focus in the future, not just on so many superhero videos. Thanks for this question, and thanks for all the support you've given my channel. Bam Movie Reviews, he's asked me a lot of questions, so I'll go through them one by one. First, he asks, who's your favourite everything in film, director, actor, composer? It depends if you mean my favourite person overall in film, or each one of these things separately, so I'll answer both. As I mentioned earlier, director is probably Edgar Wright. Favourite actor, I don't really have one. And composer, that's hard. I like a lot of scores, but I don't have a favourite composer. But someone who has caught my attention is Michael Giacchino. He's great at taking scores we're familiar with and reimagining them for newer and modern films. So I'd have to go with him purely because most modern films I don't recognise their scores, but when it's him I notice something different about them. But if you're talking about who's my favourite everything in film in general, throughout all types of people who work on a film, I'd have to go with Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios. He acts as producer for those movies. The work he's done for not only Marvel, but for Hollywood in general, he's really changed the landscape of film. I think he's incredible, and I really appreciate what he's done. So if I had to choose one person in all of film, I would choose Kevin Feige. What's my goal with YouTube? Hope to do it full time or just a hobby. Right now it's just a hobby. I didn't make this channel to try and get a career. I made it for fun, so I really can't imagine going full time ever. But that would be amazing if that's where this was to lead, but right now it's not something in my mind. My goals are more subscriber and growth based. Recently I've been focusing on getting the 1,000, which has been incredible. My next goal would probably be 10k. That's when I think you transition from being a small YouTuber to being a YouTuber who starts to have some weight and credibility behind them. I'm many years off that, but that's where I'd like to get next. And then you ask favourite things about doing YouTube. I mentioned it earlier, that would definitely be the people who watch me and discuss movies with me. And you also asked about my inspirations. I've already talked about that. For the people watching, if you don't know Bam Movie Reviews, you should go and check out his channel. He makes great content. He has really professional looking content. He uploads regularly considering his size. He has really great stuff, so go check him out if you haven't. Expert Thief 90 asks, how do I edit my videos and make thumbnails? As I mentioned before, I edit with Sony Vegas and thumbnails using Photoshop. The other part of your question, you ask if I'll see Alita. I doubt it. I don't think I'll get the chance, and it doesn't massively interest me. On Twitter, you also asked if I see YouTube as a hobby or as a job. As I mentioned from Bam Movie Reviews question, it's completely a hobby right now. I don't see it as a job at all. I just do it for fun. It doesn't feel like a job. It's just something I do in my spare time. Expert Thief, thank you for all the support over the last year. I really do appreciate all the amazing and supportive comments you've left on my channel and on Twitter. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So now over to some comments from YouTube. So first of all, Red Comics asks, What are some of your favourite movies of all time that you haven't talked about on YouTube, and what are some of your favourite YouTube channels? First of all, thanks for all the support over the last year, Red Comics, and I really enjoyed our collab together, and based on the views and the response that I got from that video, the viewers seem to really enjoy it too. So I've already talked about some of my favourite channels, so I'm going to blend the other half of your question with these two other similar questions I got. So Saif Sufian Autumn says, what's your favourite movie? And Colbus Bulbs Reviews asks, what are your top 3 favourite movies of all time? So I'll mention my top 3 films that I haven't really talked about much on YouTube. Then I'm going to merge all these questions into one. First of all, these aren't my definitive top 3 films of all time. These are just the first ones that came to my head, and these ones have a special place in my movie-loving mind. Remember, people's favourite films aren't just because they're the best films that they've seen, but they often have personal reasons, so bear that in mind. So first of all, The Martian from 2015. Now, before 2015, I was a fan of films, but not like I am now. I just saw movies more for fun, and I didn't see them as an art form as much as I do now. And so The Martian was the first film I saw that really made me feel the power of film. It was the first time I looked at a movie as an art instead of just for entertainment. I loved the way it balanced the serious situation with the lightheartedness. It was funny, it was sad, it was uplifting, it was surprising, it was powerful. It made me feel almost every emotion, and I loved that about it. The next film, I would say Baby Driver. I love this film. I love it from a technical aspect. The stunt work, the directing, the sound editing. I think it's all incredible, and it has heart, and it has likeable actors with great chemistry. I love everything about this movie. And then finally, my favourite film is, of course, Captain America Civil War. I love everything about this film. It has the best action in the MCU, the best character work, some of the best emotional moments. I love it for its introduction of Spider-Man and Black Panther. It was the first time a Marvel film felt like it had stakes. And yes, no one died, but it felt like someone could at any moment. It has a great philosophical back and forth between Cap and Tony in terms of whose side of the Accords you believe in. It deals with the aftermath of superhero battles, which is an interesting concept. Everything about this film I love, and it really showed to me the potential the MCU has to offer. Now that Endgame is down to a much smaller number of characters, I hope the Russos can give us something like this movie again. And then Expert Thief is back, and he asked what my least favourite movies are. I think my least favourite movies is Fant Four Stick from 2015. Again, 2015 was when I started to fall in love with films, and so this was the first time I left the cinema and really looked at a film critically. I wasn't expecting much from it at all, but this film really disappointed me because it was just that bad. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it really is my least favourite. He also asks my favourite TV show. I love Daredevil season 1 and 3, probably 3 more. I thought they were both fantastic character pieces, and I really hope that show gets revived. And I also love Avatar The Last Airbender, as I mentioned earlier. It has a great world and a great lore. It's entertaining the whole way through with great characters. Even the filler episodes are fun, and it has one of the most satisfying endings to a show ever that doesn't leave you disappointed at all. Apple Red, he asks, what do you do outside of YouTube? I'm going to sound really boring now, but I like to watch YouTube or watch films. If I'm not watching YouTube, I'm watching films. If I'm not watching films, I'm watching YouTube. And sometimes I'm watching YouTube about films, although I haven't yet watched a film about YouTube. Now the final question comes from Brett MALUEG, and he asks, why did you want to make videos? I kind of answered that bit earlier, but then he asked, how did I come up with my rating system? Now that's a great question because I really did give it a lot of thought before making my first review. So first of all, I wanted to do something unique. Most people use numbers or letters, but the problem I have with that is, what does a number or letter grade mean? A 5 out of 10 for me could be different to how you rate a 5 out of 10, so I wanted a rating system that everyone could understand. For you, a 5 out of 10 could mean average, but for me, a 5 out of 10 could mean it was disappointing. But saying a good film or a great film is something everyone can understand. Also, I judge a film based on my enjoyment of the film, but also how well I think the film is made. A film that is really enjoyable but isn't well made could get a 7, and then a film I didn't enjoy as much but is really well made could get an 8. But I prefer to watch the 7 out of 10 because it was more fun. So people could find that confusing how I'd rate a film lower, but actually prefer it as a movie. I think my rating system kind of avoids this problem. Also with number systems, when you start grading, the more reviews you do, you have to start adjusting your system based on the previous numbers. So I could have given a great film a 7.5, which now means I have to give a worse film a lower grade than that. Whereas my system, I think the brackets are more broad, so 2 films could both be considered good, solid movies, fall within different areas of the good, solid film category. With all reviews, it's more about what I say during the review, rather than just the arbitrary rating at the end. I hope that giving a broad rating system will allow people to focus more on what I have to say about the review, rather than just the grade. Thank you to everyone who has asked questions. I hope you enjoyed my answers. I really enjoyed answering them, and I'll put links to all the channels that asked me questions in the description below, so be sure to check them all out. So now I've hit 1,000 subscribers, where's Cinemaze going to go from here? Well, hopefully it's going to keep growing. But even if it doesn't, I'm thankful for all of you who support my channel, and I'm going to continue releasing videos whether my channel grows or not. I hope to be able to focus a bit more on my non-review videos, as they're the videos I really enjoy making and am passionate about making, but they take more time, so apologies for the lack of them. and for my inconsistent uploading. And of course, I'll continue my reviews like always. There's lots of great movies I'm so excited to talk about this year. It could be one of the best years for films yet. I'd like to say uploading will get better now that I have 1,000 subscribers, but the upcoming months for me in real life are going to be extremely busy and important. So I can't guarantee how much I'll be able to upload, which is a real shame, as I'd love to use the momentum from the 1K and the build up to Endgame to really propel my channel forwards. But as always, I'll try and upload as regularly as I can, but I really do wish I could make more videos, and I'm sorry if it's quiet at times in the next few months. Some of you may be thinking, now that I've hit 1,000 subscribers, am I able to start monetizing my videos? 1,000 subscribers is only half the criteria needed for monetization, and I'm nowhere near filling the other criteria based on watch time, and I don't think I will be anytime soon. Overall, I want to keep my channel growing, and I want to try some new things to try and make Cinemaze stand out in a platform filled with so many other fantastic people who review films. The past year has been amazing. I've loved making videos, and I've loved all the support I've received. Once again, 1,000 subscribers after a year of YouTube was far beyond my expectations when I uploaded my first video a year ago, and I can't thank you all enough. I can't believe there's 1,000 of you who care about what I have to say and are interested enough to subscribe. As a film fan, it really means a lot. Also, thanks again to everyone who asked me a question, and be sure to check out all their channels, links will be in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video and stuck around all the way till the end. I know it was long, but I hope you learned a bit about me and how I feel about films and YouTube. We have a fantastic community here filled with film fans and other film reviewers. I'm so proud of the community we have built, and I can't wait to see it grow even more. And hopefully when I make this video again next year, there'll be even more of us. Thanks to everyone for watching, and if you did enjoy this, be sure to like the video and be sure to follow me on Twitter at Cinemaze channel for more up-to-date news on Cinemaze and to get involved in Q&As just like in this video. If this happens to be the first video of mine you found, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and join the community of 1,000 film fans who talk about films with me. As always, thanks for watching Cinemaze, and more videos coming soon.